The biggest wealth transfer is happening in this moment. Up to $100 trillion in assets is being transferred right now. With that kind of money, you could buy 100 million yachts. You could fund all governments in the world, or you could buy 666 international space stations. But where does this money come from? And who actually benefits from this massive amount of money coming in? Baby boomers grew up during the post-World War II economic expansion in the US and Western countries. They were poor but highly motivated to forget the violent past and build a bright future. After school, they got well-paying jobs with pension plans and other benefits. Some people were able to work for a single company for decades. Imagine that today. Eventually, they bought a house for their family and retired at 60. The house was paid off. You had enough money left over to support your kids and take a few vacations in Mexico. That was the American dream. Today, all we have is the American fever dream. The stock market grew exponentially until the 2000s. Real estate prices and rents were low, but in the last 20 years, everything seemed to change. In 2024, the baby boomer generation, now in their late 50s to 70s, will retire and in many cases pass away. And baby boomers are extremely rich, worth $78.1 trillion in the US alone. So you might ask, why are baby boomers so insanely wealthy? Throughout their careers, their salaries were high relative to their costs. They had low housing costs, low college tuition, and a growing stock market. Maybe your grandfather was right when he said,
"Things used to be better when I was young."
But now the insane wealth of this economic boom is being transferred to Gen X and Gen Y. That means that people who are 59 years old to 28 years old will have up to $100 trillion in wealth. That's a lot of money. Who really benefits? You might think that with this amount of money we could solve the big problems of our time, climate change, world hunger, and wars. But who really benefits from this transfer? The lower class? The middle class? No, the vast majority of the wealth transferred will go to the richest 10% of households. And the top 1% has about as much wealth as the bottom 90% combined. Sounds fair, doesn't it? This is not a video about the inequality of wealth concentration, but a video about how to manage $100 trillion in assets. The fact is that huge amounts of money move from one generation to another. The younger generations have different views on how to manage their money. There are two major areas that will change in the foreseeable future. The real estate market. The real estate market is undergoing one of the largest generational shifts in history, with baby boomers holding a dominant share of real estate wealth and younger generations, Gen X and Millennials, coming into their own. The future of housing could look very different from the past. I hope it doesn't look like that shit.
Brother, what's that? What's that, brother?
Baby boomers, born between 1946 and 1964, have been a major force in the housing market for decades. Many boomers bought homes in the 1970s and 1980s when housing was relatively affordable, and over the years, those homes have appreciated significantly. Many boomers took advantage of low mortgage interest rates after the 1980s and have accumulated significant amounts of home equity. They now own an estimated 44% of U.S. housing wealth, and a significant portion of that is tied up in single-family homes in suburban and desirable urban areas. Boomers also own second properties, such as vacation homes or rental properties, which adds to their influence on the real estate landscape. You lucky bastard will be owning some of this soon. Boomers favored larger suburban homes, often with large yards and multiple bedrooms, to accommodate growing families. This trend fueled the expansion of suburban neighborhoods across the U.S. and defined much of the housing market we see today. Now that their children are grown and many boomers are retiring, these homes are often much larger than they need. Despite this, many boomers are choosing to age in place, meaning they're not selling and moving to smaller properties or retirement communities. This decision to hold on to their homes longer has created a limited housing inventory, especially in desirable areas, which has led to higher home prices. Millennials and Gen Xers eager to enter the housing market are facing stiff competition and rising prices, largely due to this limited supply. Well, thank your grandpa. As baby boomers begin to pass on their wealth or eventually downsize, Gen Xers and millennials are expected to reshape the real estate market. These younger generations have different lifestyle preferences and financial realities that will influence the future of housing. Unlike boomers who largely preferred suburban homes, Gen Xers and millennials tend to prefer urban or suburban communities that offer more walkability, access to amenities, and proximity to employment centers. Many younger buyers are looking for condos, townhouses, or smaller homes in mixed-use communities where residential, retail, and recreational spaces coexist. And someone said that younger generations are spoiled. Another defining factor of Gen X and millennial homebuyers is their focus on sustainability and efficiency. These generations are more environmentally conscious than previous generations, and they're looking for energy-efficient homes built with sustainable materials. They prioritize eco-friendly designs, smaller square footage, and green spaces that require less maintenance than traditional suburban lawns. Maybe we are just lazy. Thanks to the rise of remote work, millennials and Gen Xers are also willing to live in a wider range of locations, including more rural or suburban areas, as long as they offer a good quality of life and proximity to necessary amenities. As remote work options become more prevalent, people no longer need to live close to city centers, allowing younger buyers to explore housing options in more affordable or scenic areas. This trend is already leading to the revitalization of smaller towns and cities, which are seeing an influx of younger residents who are bringing new life and often investment to these communities. One of the biggest challenges Gen Xers and millennials face in the housing market is affordability. Home prices have increased significantly over the years, while wages have stagnated for many, making it difficult for younger generations to save for a down payment. In addition, many millennials are burdened with student loan debt, which further limits their purchasing power. Renting has become the only option for many, especially in major cities where housing prices are extremely high. Even for those who want to buy, the financial reality is challenging. First-time buyers from these generations are increasingly turning to alternative solutions, such as shared equity programs, government-backed loans, and down payment assistance programs to get a foothold in the market. We can't blame them, right? The anticipated transfer of wealth from boomers to younger generations is expected to have a major impact on the market. As boomers pass away or downsize, a large number of single-family homes in suburban areas could come on the market. This could create new buying opportunities for Gen Xers and millennials, potentially stabilizing prices or even lowering costs in some areas. However, many millennial and Gen X buyers may not be interested in these larger, more traditional homes, especially if they're located far from urban centers or require extensive maintenance. This shift in demand could lead to price adjustments for large suburban homes as supply increases and younger generations show less interest in the traditional suburban lifestyle. The second big area that's going to change is consumer behavior. Baby boomers focused more on accumulating traditional status symbols, large homes, luxury cars, and branded goods. Many built their wealth by investing in real estate and traditional stocks. They also grew up in a period of economic growth, with steady jobs that helped them accumulate significant savings in real estate assets. But now, as that wealth shifts to Gen Xers and millennials, we're seeing different priorities emerge. And no, I'm not talking about more money and more money, I'm talking about experiences. Gen Xers and millennials are much more focused on experiences than material goods. For them, wealth isn't just about accumulating stuff, it's about making memories and exploring the world. But maybe that's more of a European thing than an American thing. So instead of pouring money into big houses or luxury cars, many are looking for quality travel, unique dining experiences, and even things like wellness retreats and skill-building courses. As a result, industries that cater to experiences, such as travel, dining, and entertainment, could see a huge boost as more wealth flows into the hands of younger consumers. But don't give any of that money to Gen Alpha, I'm begging you. Then there's the growing focus on sustainability and ethical consumerism. Gen Xers and millennials grew up in a time when climate change, fair labor, and social impact became mainstream concerns. They're more likely to support brands that prioritize green practices, fair wages, and ethical sourcing. As this wealth transfer continues, we may see a significant shift in the types of companies that succeed. Companies that are transparent about their impact, from carbon footprints to worker welfare, may find themselves at an advantage as younger consumers invest their newfound wealth in products and brands that align with their values.
So please, sa para karay,